Hello, welcome to my station. My name is Beatrice Marse, a human being making music. So today I've come to talk to you about the ups and downs of making music. It's nothing special somehow, because I realize I'm about to talk about the normal process of making music somehow. So so what I have to say on the subject is that somehow you've got some ups and some downs, and I think last week was a bit of a down week. I started the week. It wasn't too well. It wasn't too well. I wasn't feeling it too well. If you can see what I mean. So and my excuse, because there's always an excuse for everything. It's because of the weather. In France, it was kind of cloudy and stormy and everything, and the weather. And today, I'm recording as usual. I'm making a video recording of this recording, and the weather. It's outside. It's very cloudy, but because what happens at the beginning of this week, I'm on the up cycle, not the down cycle. So which is good. So what happened at the beginning of this week? So I was a little bit down, and I did record a track which I happened to finish last night. So I'm going to listen to it again today, because it was last night I finished the final mix, and I want to make sure that it's well. I mixed it the way the sound is it's actually, it sounds good to me. So and well, what happened at the beginning of this week? And I was down, so I was saying, and then I went back to Spotify after renting on Spotify on my on one of my blog, which is the name of this blog is in French actually. It's beatricemarse.com. And I was ranting about Spotify, and then at the beginning of this week, I went to Spotify, and then I saw that I had 3 listeners. So I was surprised, because for free listeners, okay. So I was surprised, and because for the past weeks there were no listeners at all, and then I looked at the stats on my artist account and didn't think much of it. And then the following day, I went back to it again, and then I had a look at the stat, properly looked at the stat, and then I realized that actually I had 3 listeners, 3 different tracks from coming from each of my album, if it's English enough. Well, 1 track per album, knowing that I've released 3 albums, so I think it's clear. But well, basically, I realized, so I had those 3 listeners, 3 different tracks, and the funny thing about the whole thing is the reason why I'm doing it in English. Apart from the fact that on my album there's always 1 or 2 English tracks, and it's that most of the listeners are not coming from France, so there's a purpose to everything I do actually. So, yeah, I realized, so 3 different listeners from 2 different countries actually, and I don't think they are the same listeners, because I could see the name of the towns. So it's so well. And then I realized I had a deep look at the stat, and then I realized that actually those tracks were saved on playlists. And then it just and I was like over the moon. So it's only 3 listeners, okay, and it doesn't seem much. It doesn't seem much. It doesn't sound much. I know, but it's. I have to say, it means a lot to me, because I've done the music. I didn't go out of my way to talk to my friends about it, to my family about it. So all the listeners are people I don't know, and I really appreciate that the fact that when the stats come up, however low they might be, I do appreciate the whole thing, because I know it's people that are listening to my music. They are people I don't know. I didn't coax those people to listen to it. They made a choice, and it's just like. I'm so grateful. I have to say, it's really not about the money. It's just being grateful to have created something, and people are taking the time. People I don't know are taking the time to actually listen to it, and in this case of those tracks is to appreciate the music, since they've been saved on playlists. So. And I was thinking last week, and that's the reason why I was a little bit down, depressed. Is that I was thinking, how am I going to go on a playlist? And I don't actually. I know that the conventional thinking on the matter is that I should, but I'm not too comfortable with what I would say. The word I would use would be harassing people to actually put me on their playlist. Number one, it's going to be time consuming for me, and my main purpose is actually to write songs, okay, to come up with sounds. So and if I take the time to actually do that, I won't be able to create any tracks. So it's not, well, that's one point. And the second thing, I don't really want to harass people, because I think we come to a point, the way it is like it is talked about on the net about promoting an album. I think some people with large playlists, they must be like harassed with demands, requests, and I don't want to be one of them. And really, some of you are going to say maybe I'm lazy, but I don't think I'm lazy, because I can't. Now, slowly, I'm reaching a point where I cannot do everything, and I have to actually prioritize the things I do, because otherwise nothing will happen. Knowing that my main front is actually making music, creating music, so setting up the environment around me so I can do that freely. So and really what I'm looking for is organic reach. This is right from the beginning. When I decided to actually release the thing, I said to myself, I want to actually have people following me, because they learn about me, and they heard my music, and they like it for what it is, with its quality and not so good quality of sound for some tracks. But I'm taking full responsibility for the thing. It's all about of my creating process, and I like it that way. And this is my way of being real with my listeners. So, well, I have to say, right now I'm really on an upcycle, and then there was another thing coming up for me, which is not music related, a little bit more business related. Was kind of good for me. Talking about learning and acting, and I took some action about something, and basically I've got some rewards. Nothing really flash, but which is quite good, because I've just realized that the thinking process was good. Like I'm saying with my music, I know that my thinking process is good, and then well, I'm willing to pay any price for it. That's as far as I'm concerned. So that was it. So nothing much. Like I say, making music is just like a cycle of ups and downs, and sometimes you go really down in the deep, and that's the way to say it. But it doesn't prevent me to actually make music. Right now I'm working on the 5th album, and And the only thing I can say right now is that maybe if I manage to actually finish the fifth album before the summer, before the beginning of July, I don't know, because in my creating process, I realized that now I spend more time, and when I actually sit down in front of the workstation, it just comes like very quickly, and like, yeah, I managed to actually organize my thoughts subconsciously, I would say. And when I come to the workstation and put the power on over the equipment, things go fast, and it takes me less time to actually do something somehow. But and I'm saying that because like two weeks ago, I thought I was down to maybe 3 weeks ago, I can't remember, I was down to only one track, and I was thinking that maybe because emotionally I was I had been challenged, so I thought maybe I would have some trouble to work on number 5. And then suddenly I came up in less than 20 minutes, I came up with 2 tracks. Well, the basis, the really simple basis for 2 tracks, and within 48 hours the 2 tracks were recorded. And then there was some time to actually mix it together and do my type of master it. So, and it was very quick. It was a very quick process. So as I'm saying that maybe, I don't know, if basically my rule where I do things that if I finish an album, okay, I've got always an album on the shelf. So if I'm finished the second one, the previous one has to be released. That's the way I work. So I don't know yet. Well, that was all for me. I said I was wondering what kind of podcast should I do, what should I record, and the thing was so I was so impressed by those stats that I said to myself I should talk about it. So I blogged about it, and now remember, I made an entry on my Instagram account, and now I'm making a podcast about it. So that's all. Well, that's all, folks. That's the way I think you English people say it. So that's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed that podcast as usual, and I hope to hear from you pretty soon, or you hear from me pretty soon. I don't know. I don't set times for the podcast. Sometimes I do one, sometimes I don't, and I don't want to. I've got the term in French, but I can't find it in English. But let me think. Give me a few seconds. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it just because I feel like I should do it. I want to do it because I want to do it. That's it. I don't want to. I don't want to feel obliged to do something just to get more listeners or whatever. I came to a point in my life where I'm just going with the flow, and if the flow says that now you have to stop a little bit, relax a bit, and do a podcast, then there the podcast will be. Well, that's it for today. This time I'm gonna say goodbye to you, and may I thank you again to have been listening to this podcast. Hope to see you again. And remember, if you want to see my face, you can go to my YouTube channel, Beatrice Marse, and I think by tomorrow that podcast will be on this channel. Over, I see you very soon, or I don't know. Bye.